Lauren Boebert's new target, as she is desperately trying to keep her seat in Congress, is not any large, sweeping issue plaguing her constituents. No, it's Melissa Schwarz, the Director of Communications for the Department of the Interior. Schwarz has, according to Boebert, trolled her so hard that Schwarz should be living under a bridge, earning a salary of just $1. Because a salary of $0 would be slavery, so it's a good thing that Boebert offered her the $1.
Madam Chair, I am going to exercise the rule of the House to offer the Holman Rule amendment here in this appropriations bill, and I rise to offer my amendment that reduces the salary of Melissa Schwarz, Director of Communications of the Department of Interior, to $1. Melissa Schwarz is yet another horrendous and miserable use of taxpayer dollars. Look at this. She is a mask-wearing, quadruple-vaxxed, Green New Deal extremist, and unfortunately, a liberal troll who has harassed me even in committee hearing rooms. She shouldn't be employed at the Department of Interior. Melissa Schwarz belongs under a bridge. Melissa had the nerve and lack of respect to confront me in the halls of Congress following a Department of Interior meeting. In this hearing, she had the audacity to come and personally attack a member of Congress. This DEI hire made clear she doesn't work for the American people, and she is simply another misguided mouthpiece for liberal extremists that hates conservatives and people that disagree with her eccentric views. Rather than focus on agency priorities or the American people's priorities, facts, and seeking to do what's best for America, Schwarz spends most of her taxpayer time tweeting nonsense and trying to promote the Biden regime's radical New Deal scam. Melissa and her colleagues believe that climate change is the ultimate threat to humanity. They are willing to kill American jobs and sacrifice the health of our economy at all costs as they pursue their extremist ideology.
Schwarz wore a mask during the pandemic. She got the vaccine. She loves the Green New Deal. What a terrible woman. Boebert said that Schwarz being on the federal payroll was a horrendous and miserable misuse of taxpayer dollars. The irony of that statement coming from Lauren Boebert as she's speaking on the congressional floor as a wholly ineffective elected official almost is not worth pointing out, but there, I've done it. But let's talk about her diction here, the words that she chose to go with. Schwarz is, according to Boebert, a DEI hire. There's nothing to prove or disprove that statement because it is a nonsense statement. She just knows that her supporters and potential supporters do not love DEI, so the more she can say things like DEI hire, the more people will like her. Then she talks about the Biden regime. Since when do we have regimes in the United States as opposed to administrations? The word regime, in the minds of American citizens at least, conjures up ideas and images of authoritarian leadership, of militaristic governance. There's a show on HBO right now called The Regime about a right-wing authoritarian leader somewhere in Central Europe. I just watched it. I had noticed this switch in rhetoric a little while ago, but it seems that more Republicans are really embracing that term now. And they're trying to be subtle about it, but I just want them to know that I've noticed. But her overall point is that Schwarz doesn't do anything to actually help the American people in her role in the Interior's Department. I'm not sure what Boebert thinks the Interior's Department should be working on instead, but she says that Schwarz is just trying to shill the Green New Deal, which is apparently a scam and definitely not anything the American people are desperate to see implemented. It's not like the American people overwhelmingly support climate action or anything like that, except that they do. According to Pew Research, 63% of Americans say that harm to people in the U.S. from climate change will worsen in their lifetime. That could explain why younger people across the aisle are more likely to support climate efforts than older people, whether by phasing out fossil fuels completely or by integrating more sustainable energy sources into our existing energy ecosystem. 2/3 of Americans prioritize developing alternative energy sources like wind and solar. 2/3 of adults say the federal government should encourage wind and solar production. and 2/3 say large businesses and corporations should do more to reduce the effects of climate change. Last one, 3/4 of Americans support U.S. participation in international efforts to reduce the effects of climate change. So the moral of this story is that I don't know a whole lot about Melissa Schwarz, but I can guarantee you that she is doing more for the American people than Lauren Boebert is. Boebert is literally complaining about trolls on the Congress floor. With the recent switch-ups in the Democratic landscape, though, where does our presumptive presidential nominee stand on the climate issue and the Green New Deal? Well, she has a record for being very pro-climate action, and she was an early co-sponsor of the Green New Deal. Back when she ran for president in 2019, she had several climate-related proposals. She had a $10 trillion spending plan to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, getting to zero emissions by 2045. She said that her administration would issue fines to polluters for emitting greenhouse gases into the atmosphere, and she would crack down on fossil fuel companies. She opposes fracking and offshore drilling, which Biden did not oppose, and she said that she would ban fossil fuel leases on public lands. She proposed an Office of Climate and Environmental Justice Accountability that would represent the views of frontline communities, conduct research on issues and trends in frontline communities, measure the costs and benefits of federal actions on frontline communities, and monitor government compliance. As far as things that she's already done to aid the climate, last year as vice president, she attended the UN Global Climate Summit in Dubai saying this: "The urgency of this moment is clear. The clock is no longer just ticking, it is banging, and we must make up for lost time. Around the world, there are those who seek to slow or stop our progress, leaders who deny climate science, delay climate action, and spread misinformation. In the face of their resistance and in the context of this moment, we must do more." She held a roundtable in Bangkok connecting environmental activists with clean energy experts, and she launched the U.S. Caribbean Partnership to Address the Climate Crisis 2030. As a senator, she championed the use of electric school buses in an effort to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and reduce children's exposure to diesel engine pollution. She also sought to replace lead water pipes, and she promoted better agricultural practices that would mitigate the effects of drought on farming. She investigated ExxonMobil in 2016 during her time as California's Attorney General, when it was clear that ExxonMobil had misled the public and shareholders regarding the climate impact of its operations. Unfortunately, the investigation did not result in prosecution. However, she was able to obtain settlements from Chevron and BP over allegations that they violated pollution laws. She successfully sued Plains All-American Pipeline for its 2015 oil spill in California, and she won an $86 million settlement from Volkswagen for cheating on diesel emissions tests. And even before that, in 2005, while she was the district attorney for San Francisco, she created the nation's first environmental justice unit. She said, "Crimes against the environment are crimes against communities, people who are often poor and disenfranchised. The people who live in those communities often have no other choice but to live there." Honestly, there's more, but I think we can leave it there. I'm obviously pro-climate, as I'm sure many of you are. I wish that Biden had been stronger in his support for the climate, although he's obviously been a lot better than Trump was and wants to be. Trump, who tried to bring back coal, who blames windmills for everything, who has no problem destroying Scottish ecosystems for his development projects, who promised oil and gas executives unwavering support in exchange for campaign donations. I would love to have someone in office who has demonstrated support for the climate as opposed to someone who's actively trying to destroy it. We'll see if America feels the same way. All right, that's it for me. If you got anything out of this, please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more. Thanks.